Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It's another one of these foggy, rain dripping or water dripping from the trees and stuff type of morning here. Supposed to be a little warmer today, around 77. So, and the rain is holding off at least for today. Probably going to get some this weekend. So, today's a big day. We got to get moving, and yeah. So let me show you where we're at and kind of what's been happening the last couple days. So first things first, yesterday morning I finally took delivery of my 2x8s, my rafters, that will be rafters, and then my roof sheathing there, that 5/8 zip, as well as my ridge board. So, and then yesterday afternoon I spent most of the day traveling, trying to find the last bit of parts I needed, which was my rafter hangers. Everybody had joist hangers around here. Nobody had rafter hangers, and I ended up going a long way away to get them. So basically spent about 6-7 hours on the road yesterday driving around, and it's just kind of how things are out here. So materials are here. I have a plan to hold up my ridge board here in place. I've got a couple 2x4s that I'm going to cut down to length to just kind of prop that board up there while I put in or attach the rafters to it. So since those rafters are still over here and they're uncut, that is going to be one of the first things done this morning. I have a pattern. You see kind of this board here that's inside there. So the rear rafters are much longer than the front rafters. Since the ridge board and stuff will go halfway between the back and the total front here, not the front of the structure. So the actual middle is somewhere in this area here. So you'll see once everything kind of gets posted up there and how it looks. But I've got to lay out my rafter hangers on my ridge board. That's got to be done early. And like I said, rafters are going to get cut and bird mouth and all that stuff. So yeah, we're out here nice and early, and we need to get a good run on this. Like I said, I think I have some rain coming in next couple days, and I don't want to be up on the roof in the rain. So priority is going to be to get this really done as much as I can today. So I need to get to it. All right, guys, just spent a little time here putting up my ridge board posts here. This is a post here that's going to help hold it, and then over there I've got kind of a fork contraption, like a little V, where the board is going to sit in between it and hold it up there. It should be at the proper height. I've measured everything 2 or 3 times here, so we should be good to go. These posts here that are the bottom of that is 10 foot 5 3/4, plus the 9 and 9 1/4 height of this ridge board. That's going to bring me up to 135 inches, which is the top of my ridge. So kind of first things first, I told you before I did cut out my pattern. This is one rafter here, and then the front rafter is kind of tucked in there somewhere. Oh, I'm sorry. This is doesn't matter. I have some patterns done, and they're both over there kind of tucked away. So let me talk about this ridge board for a second. Obviously, my plans, this is a ridge board now. It's not a ridge beam, as it is acting within this structure itself. So I did not need to have a engineered LVL ridge board. The plans actually call for a 1x8 that's butted up against each other. In my cabin 1, that's what I did. Cabin 3, I used a 2x10, I believe, or maybe a 2x8, and not engineered, but just a standard, store-bought, killed and dried 2x material. And now here I'm using a one-piece LVL And there are several reasons for this. And yes, it is. First off, yes, it is a little bit more expensive, at least $100, maybe $125 more than just using two 2x8s butted up against each other. But I'm a one-man operation out here. I think having this board together like this, my next thing I'm going to do here is put on my rafter hangers on both sides. So all that's going to be measured and put up. And then I'm going to set up the ridge board and then test out my patterns before I start cutting all of the rafters, just to make sure everything's kind of lined up. Now, it will be a little challenging getting this up there towards the top. This ridge board is not very heavy. I say that, you know, some people may struggle with it. I will probably struggle with it a little bit, but it's just one of those things that's going to be easier to handle for me. I also struggled in the past by using two separate boards butted up against each other, having to relocate my V-posts that I put up kind of in the middle, and it was a whole debacle about how I got those couple boards up there. It was just very challenging, up and down the ladder 100 times and this and that. And so my idea is that I'd rather spend the extra $100, $125 for a single board that's going to be up there straight and accurate, rather than having to wrestle to butt up two pieces of store-bought lumber that are probably not going to be square, or even when you butt them up against each other, it's really just one of those things where now I've done this 2 or 3 times and this is the way I want to go. And, you know, I will certainly have an opinion on this method once we're all done with this. So I'm going to lay out all of my rafter hangers right now, and then I need to get this up into my posts over there. So let's get it done. All right, guys, I just finished up the last of my rafter hangers there. So that ridge board is all ready to go. Now, I've been looking around the structure as I have it sitting now. It is such a webbed maze of supports and you know, braces and things like that. It's really tough to find a clear way to get through here. So what I have decided is that I'm going to go just over this board right here and then onto the ladder that's staged up over there. So I should be able to rest midway on this board here, and it should be touching the ladder on the other side so it doesn't kind of teeter-totter a little bit. Plus the fact I have rafter hangers on both sides, I got to send the board down so it slides vertical. So, you know, that providing less rubbing resistance against this board here, this 2x4 that spans across here, and hopefully it'll slide nice and easy up towards that ladder up over there. So we'll see how this goes. Attempt 1. All right, guys. Well, it wasn't, you know, grace on ice or nothing like that, but that sucker's up there, and I don't think there's going to be any issues here. Now, this side here does not have side supports like a fork. I want the ability to move it, you know, kind of left or right, at least the width of a 2x4. It is very centered right now, but I want that option. So the other side is the more secure side. That's got the V, and it's resting in between there. So I'm relatively certain it's not going to flop out or anything like that. So now what I got to do, I got to get up there, and I want to put my patterns that I have cut out for my rafters. I want to get them in there just to make sure that they're correct and accurate, and then we'll move on to cutting some rafters. Kind of had a dry fit of that rafter that's sitting up there now. It is off. The height of my ridge board is accurate. It's 135. I just threw a tape measure on it down to the floor. But I've got to lift that up, the rafter up 2.5 inches in order for that cut to be flush with the ridge board. And my bird's mouth here, you can see I have excess opening here at the end. It's just not sitting flush, so I'm going to add 2.5 inches. Actually, I'm going to add a 1-inch board out here because that's what my siding's going to be, and I cut these bird's mouths to allow for that 1 inch, so the 1 inch, so the board will slide up behind it. So I'm going to put up a temporary 1-inch board, so that way when I pull it all the way towards the ridge board, that is going to be, you know, a pretty accurate distance from that, and then we'll kind of take another look at this. All right, gang, just wanted to show you what I've been up to here, trying to figure out this height difference. So you can see now my rafters are sitting in there nice and flush. They're flush with the top. Everything looks fantastic. But I did modify my pole here that's holding this up. I went up 1.25 inches. That's that block that's in there. That's 1.25 inches spacing, and I'll tell you why. My plans call for 2x6 rafters, and these are 2x8s. So the change is, now that's a 2x6 rough sawn lumber, so it's an actual 2x6, whereas these are nominal 2x8s. So these are from 6 inches. These are only 7.25 inches wide. Okay, that's where that 1.25 inches came from. That's the 1.25 inch block, and it has made a 100% difference in how the rafters are sitting on my beams that go across here, my top plates, I guess. But everything's flush, everything's looking great, and I think we're full go now for cutting these rafters and starting to get things up here. Glad it took a minute. I'll be honest with you, I was measuring, I mean, everything along here, from the floor on that end, the distance between the back, because I'm 7 feet, I'm in the middle of the cabin is where this beam goes. 7 feet from the back, you know, I pulled a triangle here trying to figure out, you know, if I was centered. It's been a whole thing, and, you know, I try to step back as far as I can to say, okay, what's the problem? And, you know, from everything, from the point of checking the angle that's on my chop saw, it against, you know, a square, it's really been something else. And, you know, it's nice to, when you step back and you look at things and you kind of figure things out for the way they are. And what modifications I made, it's working out. It's working out great now. Now that we've enjoyed this little math project. You hear the cars in the background. It's a somewhat of a what I kind of refer to as like a high-end weekend. It's all Porsches and Corvettes out there this weekend. So a lot of these Porsches are highly modified, and you can hear them coming from a, I don't know if you can hear that. That's that's a ways up the road. But anyway, let's move on. Rafter time. Well, guys, I had to put you guys on the charger for a little bit, and while you guys were recharging, I was finishing up here. So everything went great. I am super happy with that LVL. That thing worked out great. It was one less thing I had to worry about, and I'm telling you, I'll bring the camera up there at some point and just give you a look down that ridge board. It is straight as an arrow, and I have absolutely no complaints about that. Money well spent in my mind, and yeah, it just, everything just went absolutely perfect. So I still have, you see, I've got a little bit of an extension here off this end. I'm going to have a fly rafter off of each side, so I've got to cut my notches in this first rafter here. It's probably going to be about 2 feet apart going down. So we'll have a 2x4 connecting that to the fly rafter itself. I've already got them cut. This is one of them here. That's the long one. And then the short one there on the ground. And then the other ones are on the other side of the cabin over there. So they're all cut and ready to go. I just need to get my happy butt up there and kind of make some notches and stuff. So well, the first thing I want to do tomorrow is kind of line up my rafter tails in the back. I just climbed up on the ladder here and took a peek down, and it is, I mean, dead close to perfect. I am super happy with it, but I think I need a little nudge at a couple of them, but you know, nothing that's real catastrophic or anything like that. But we're going to get those lined up, and then I'll start looking. I'm looking forward now. So thinking about tomorrow. Now, I got 30% chance of rain, so you know, we'll be out here dodging the raindrops if we have to. So tomorrow, what I'm looking to get done is the freeze blocks in between the backside of the rafters. The backside has the extension over the top of it. So I want to get those freeze blocks set up back there. Of course, line everything up Excuse me. Recheck square on everything, and freeze blocks, fly rafters, and potentially some roof sheathing tomorrow. We shall see. I want to make sure everything is squared up really nice and ready to go before I start throwing up these heavy sheets of OSB. So that's kind of what we're looking at. But yeah, super happy with today's work. Once I was able to figure out the math, and you know, you could ask Rebecca. Todd don't do math, so it's just how it is. So yeah, everything went great. All right, gang, I got a little bit more cleanup to do back here. I want to put my ladders and stuff away, make sure everything is covered up. We're most likely going to get some rain overnight, and you know, I'll just do the best I can with kind of keeping things covered up. And yeah, I guess that's it. It's about 6 o'clock, so it's time to, like I said, a little more cleanup, then I'm heading to the house. So as usual, guys, hey, I appreciate you hanging out with me, taking the time to watch me tackle some of this stuff. It's definitely more interesting here on the ground for sure, and it'll be interesting to see some of you folks that actually you know, come and stay with us here at the Lazy T. Be interesting to hear some comments, or if you're walking around and you see stuff, I said, oh, I remember him talking about that. That was a real pain in the butt. But anyway, I look forward to those conversations, to tell you the truth. So, all right, guys, that's it. We'll see you on the next one.